coach and the comic.
Hey, buddy, we have finally made it to this point to get to this coach and the comic. We've been backstage doing so much to make this a reality. So, buddy, we are here, our first show, the coach and the
Yes,
comic. What are you
coach.
thinking, buddy?
You're the coach. I'm the comic, so I'm gonna let you coach away.
you know, you've got number one relationship coach, C. Reggie Rogers, but I am so honored to have alongside of me. I'm actually walking alongside of him. It's none other than Buddy Lewis. Buddy, tell the people just you have this extensive career, what you've done, what movies you've been in. Come on, let's talk.
Hey man, I've been around the game entertainment business for about 30 years. Came out to Los Angeles after graduating from HU Howard University. Okay, the Mecca.
H
All right.
HBCU.
There you go. And you know what? Here's my little claim to fame about that. I was in school with Kamala Harris. So I was around then. Yeah, we'll talk about that in another show. That's my little claim to fame.
How how
I
close are you guys?
not at all. But
Okay.
don't be trying to get a hookup, Reg. Anyway, yeah, I came out to Los Angeles to pursue my career in entertainment, and I've been out here 30 years, comedy, acting, writing, producing. I'm a check whore, so wherever they have a check, that's where I'm going to be that day, doing whatever they ask me to do. And some of you all are probably saying, "Have you done porn?" Not yet. And the reason why
He said
was,
not yet.
yeah, you never know where this career is going to go, and you never know what you got to
So
do
so so
to make it.
basically, it's not out the question.
Not
It's
yet. Yeah, well, it's not out of the question, and the reason why I can do it is because I had a mantra that I was never going to do anything to embarrass my mama. But now that she's passed on and had Alzheimer's, before she passed, I could do something and she'd forget. So yeah, now that she's gone, hey man, I'm free. I can do anything because I don't care about the rest of these people. But my mama, I was going to try to keep her safe from my foolishness.
You said you are free. So here's what I think the people can expect from us, buddy, because you and your free self,
Hmm.
which means you have a liberty to speak and to say whatever Buddy feels like saying and whatever comes to Buddy's mind. I want you to have that liberty and freedom to say it. So what people can and I think this is the beauty of what we do, Buddy, because we're gonna have some serious and we're gonna have some funny.
Of course. And Reg, I mean, you're sitting here, you being modest, Reg. You went through your little career, little accolades with a little quick. So I want people to know who they're dealing with. Go ahead and tell them what you do, how you've been around, and make the people feel what it is you do, Reg.
Well, I'm an author. I've written this. Will be my fourth book that's coming out. My undergraduate degree is actually in March rate science, but my graduate degree is in philosophy. So I've been a relationship coach now. Some say number one relationship coach. I guess it depends on who you've asked. I've had a television show, radio show, podcast show, all the above. I've written for the number one magazine in Las Vegas, My Vegas Magazine. I appeared on live in Las Vegas once a month as their relationship guru to
Mm,
talk about dating and relationships.
all right,
So
Guru.
I've we've done some case studies with some of BET's top exec women who've pulled some women together so we can kind of do some case studies for women who were high powered to see where they stood in the dating and relationship world and
I need to know what we're gonna talk about that one day real soon. I want to hear because I know some of them high powered falutin women over there at BET. As I was a producer writer for the Real Husbands of Hollywood, which is over there. I want to hear the
can, can,
statistics.
Can I tell you something? The person who pulled me in to pull it together is our mutual friend.
Who is this?
I'm not saying who it is, but
You
it's
know what?
our mutual friend, though.
Okay, well, I think I know who that is, and we'll bring that up later. Maybe when they come on the show, we can talk to them about it. But I want to hear about these highfalutin women and their and their issues. I want to know what they're going through.
Hey, listen, our timing, buddy, is impeccable. Let me tell you why.
Hmm.
Because this show is going to air post Valentines, not pre, but
Ooh,
post.
ooh, post. that's a horrible time for a lot of them. It's a horrible time. Day or two after Valentine's. That's a horrible time for a lot of women.
Listen,
Matter
so
of fact, that's like Black Monday for football coaches.
Black Monday. He said it's like Black Monday.
It's like the day after Valentine's Day. I'm telling you, it's like Black Monday for football coaches. It's like the Turk and the cutting is you find out you've been cut.
Listen, it's funny because you're gonna go to the wall and see if your name is up on the list
Yeah,
to see
you
if you
got it.
made that final cut,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you don't see your name there. It's like,
Mm-mm,
oh, all
mm-mm.
that work, and
Oh,
I didn't make the final
yep. You
cut.
didn't make the band. You know how they did the movie Drumline when they all went down the list to see if they made they made the band, the traveling band. Oh no,
Didn't make it. Didn't make the final cut.
you did not. You did not. You are not the. You are not the father.
Listen, we gonna give that's a Maury. Listen, that's a Maury segment.
Okay,
You
sorry.
are not the father. But listen, ladies, here's what we want you to, I want you to understand. Whether you love Valentine's Day or hate it, one thing is clear. Valentine's Day is known for what? Kissing,
Gifts.
it's gifts, and trying to make a reservation in a restaurant that you probably won't be able to make a reservation with. So Valentine's Day always falls on February 14th. That's one thing you can be rest assured. And that's what we're going to try to talk today. We're going to talk about Valentine's Day gifts, love, but from the perspective of looking at it after the fact.
Yeah.
After the fact. You know what I
And,
mean?
and first, let me say to all the people out there, the word is Valentines. Let me say it. That's times. It's not Valentines. It's not times. I just want to let all of the truly ignorant at heart know. If somebody's
Pronounce
giving you a Valentine's gift, you might not. You might want to look
Valentine's.
into your choices. That's all I'm saying.
You
Look
got
into your choices.
you have to pronounce every syllable.
Valentine
Valentines.
times.
Every syllable. So, ladies, I want to ask you, did you get the right gift? Did you get the gift that you wanted? What was the right gift for you, ladies? I want to know. And how many people do you think are mad because they did not get the gift they wanted, buddy?
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, first of all, um, I'm gonna say this. Many of y'all are at at this day after Valentine's Day, the 15th. Some of y'all just heard from your dude who you probably had sex with on the 13th.
And he went MIA on the
He went
14th.
straight MIA. Let me tell you what that means. Let me tell you what that means. That means you are not the Valentine. You're not the Valentine. He is with his Valentine.
So hold
You
on,
are the
buddy. Hold on.
you're
They may
the
be
you're the
they may be pre-Valentines or post-Valentines, but they are not the
you're not
Valentines.
the Valentine.
Yeah.
You're side piece in time. I'm just
So,
saying. If you didn't see your dude on Valentine's Day, if you didn't see this guy, your partner, the dude you're with, if you didn't see him on Valentine's Day, there can only be two things. One, he's out of town for real, and you mean I dropped him off at the airport, he's out of town. I know he's been taking this trip. It's a business. I know he can't be here. Anything other than that, but anything. I mean work. If you works in the same time, you're supposed to see that dude on Valentine's Day. You're supposed to see him. If you don't see him, he didn't drop no gift off to you. You say it with me. You
you
are not
n-
the Valentine. You're not
you are not. So let me ask you this, buddy. What if they got the gift the day before?
fake. You
You
are
are not
not the
the
Valentine.
Valentine. What if
You're
they got
not.
the gift? What if they got the gift the day after?
You
You
are
are not
not the
the
Valentine.
Valentines.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I'll
I'm
say
gonna tell you, listen, this is the day for lovers, and this is the day when you are, and see, some of you women are gonna tell you, you're gonna give yourself some lousy excuses. It's Valentine's every day in my house. No, 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 it's not. No, it's not. If you didn't see that dude, if that dude tells, and I'm gonna tell you, dudes will tell you, look, I don't listen, let me tell you something, boo. I don't I don't support Valentine's Day. I listen, that's all trash. I'm giving up man code. That is trash for listen. Me and my family, I'm a Jehovah Witness. We don't celebrate Valentine's, and you know,
they gonna
yeah,
throw the
they gonna
religion in
throw
there.
all of that goofy stuff up into your face. Trust me, if you not with that dude on Valentine's Day, because I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't take much, and I'm gonna give you some fellas. I'm gonna give you some suggestions for free stuff you can do that will impress a lady on Valentine's Day. It's not expensive. You don't have to do much, but it just shows that you care. And I mean small things. Listen,
So, buddy,
ladies.
you tell me what are some good gifts to give?
Oh, first of all, hey, listen. This is the cheap one. This is a cheap one. Find you a park, right? A park with a park bench overlooking a nice view. I don't care if you want to go out to the beach. I don't care if you want to go to a nice park like Griffith Park in LA. There's a park. In DC is Rock Creek Park. In Atlanta is Piedmont Park. You go find you a park. All right. If it's too
Okay.
cold, go find you a spot. Right. Bring out a little basket full of her favorite treats and nice little things. Pull that out. Have one candle. Put it on the table and just sit there and have a nice little lunch with your girl. Now, this ain't gonna work in Chicago. You're gonna look like an asshole in the
Because it's
cold.
too cold.
It's too
Buddy,
cold.
you hold that thought. You hold that thought. Because that's we got to get our guest out here. I want to make sure we get her. I want to hear her viewpoints on this. And you hold that thought
I'm
because
gonna
those
hold
are
it.
some good. No, you hold that thought. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna listen to Michael Wave here, and Michael Wave. They're gonna come with a song called "Love You Like You Have Never Been Loved." Love
Mm,
you like you have never
that
been
sounds
loved.
like
And when
good
we come
pimping to me.
back,
That sounds like
when
good
we
pimping
come
to me.
back, buddy, we're gonna have our guests, which is on our first show. We're so honored and happy to have Samantha Abrams,
That's
author.
right. Author, comic.
Samantha
Oh,
Y. Abrams.
genius.
Man, she's a genius.
Genius.
Genius. Brilliant.
Book's genius.
Brilliant. All right. Well, we're gonna have her when we come back after Love You Like You Need to Be Loved by Microwave.
One, two, three.
Keep the picture. This could be me and you. Pull out your feelings. I know you want it too. 'Cause I got the feeling all in my bones. You're waking up the monkey with the gorilla trying to get you to moan. You look so good all by yourself. The way I see it, I think you're gonna need some help. And then we pop, go, the weasel does a weasel go pop. We can go pop. We can go pop. Let me love you like you need to be loved. Love you like you need to be loved.
So we are back. Love you like you need to be loved.
Wow.
I like that.
You guys remember the song back in the 80s called Instant Replay?
Vaguely.
Vaguely.
That was Microwave. This is their newest stuff.
Mm.
So, Samantha, you are with us live. Love you like you need to be loved. We got Samantha
Wow.
Y. Abrams. What's up, Samantha?
Hey man, I was really jamming to that groove. The beat was dope, the lyrics were dope, but in light of, Valentine's Day upcoming, I'm really listening to the lyrics and like you guys you've been talking this whole time, but there's this whole like female savage piece that y'all just left out. Like this nigga, listen to the lyrics. He was begging this bitch to please love me.
Buddy, she came out firing
She
already.
sound like a savage. I'm just saying.
So we've omitted the savage piece, is what you're saying?
There's that piece. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because the perfect gift, right?
For a savage or just for a regular woman?
Well, we can be both.
Okay.
Ooh.
There's phases to it.
Oh yeah, well,
right. There are windows, right? And so, like, listen, if I love you, if I'm really into you, yeah, let's go to the park. Let's get a candle or two. Let's have a picnic. I don't care. I don't care what you get me for Valentine's Day.
Just get you something.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, but
You know what? Now-
does it
love
matter that they just remember that day though? Like if that day wasn't one that he made a priority, would it bother you? Or
I think for most mature women, right, and they're different, the demographic varies, of course, but for most mature women, and I'm talking about women, over 35, right, perhaps that have had kids. Some of us have been divorced. Buddy, you're divorced. For mature women like
bringing
myself,
up my business.
I understand if he forgets. Niggas forget shit. Like we already know. It's them dramatic bitches that's like want to use that shit against you. You forgot.
Buddy, you know what? I need you to introduce our audience who Samantha is because she came out firing from the
I told
gate.
you this is why I love this guest. This is Samantha Abrams, ladies and gentlemen. She's an author of the book The Complete Player. This is her book, The Complete Player. I got it right here. See, she wrote a book, and this book, being a comic, being an actress, she's been around the game for. I don't want to date you because she's still, black don't crack, but she's been around for many years. I met her when she first came to LA many years ago, working at the Ha Cafe. That's the place me and Kim Whitley started together, and she's got her own room called what's it called, Samantha, on Thursday nights?
It's Speak Live.
The Speak Live, right? And it's the greatest little underground room in her apartment. It's incredible. You go in there and it's like 25, 30 people in there, and we all sit around. We tell jokes underground style, like back in the day in New York. And it's a great get down. She has a little food in there. It's a little drink. You can have a good time. COVID kind of put a damper on it for a hot second, but it's back. And we go in there and you have a real good time. Comics come in there and work out. I mean, famous comics that are just starting out. Everybody comes in there and works out. And Sam runs that room. She's a delight because she keeps it real. She has her own podcast with her friend who's a guru and scientist. He's an analyst and a scientist. And so together they wrote this book that is exquisite. I mean, it sort of combines the mental aspect of relationships and the sexual tension and whatnot that comes in a relationship. So she delves into both. And I let her tell it. I let her give the I'm just giving the overall, but I'm gonna let her discuss.
Well, the book is called The Complete Player, and you can get the ebook or the paperback on Amazon. And what it is a neurological description of the love game between the player and his mark. And so, what it is really an hilarious but yet academic breakdown of what happens to our brains when we're falling in love, when we're lusting, when we're in relationships, leaving really heartbroken, and then also when we're addicted. So there's a drug element, but it's really a science book, and yet it's hilarious.
Yes, it is funny, And I'm Sam, tell us, because there's some things there. It's funny, as I read the book, there were a lot of interesting things
Yeah.
about me, and I vacillated between being a player and a mark, and so
All right.
so I'm like, damn, I'm a sucker, and
Well,
I just
Hey, so
want to.
so so what's the difference between a Mark, a sucker, and a Mitch?
well, let's add player. Let me attempt to answer that. So let's start with player. A player is someone who toys with another person's love emotion for sexual gratification,
Mm,
Okay,
right? A
okay.
mm.
sucker is just a nigga you can play all the way up and down La Cienega Boulevard and the 405. This is somebody who's just naive, right? A sucker could
Okay.
be a female or a male. And then a Mitch, now,
That's a male bitch, and that's from the Real Husbands of Hollywood.
That's where
That means
I got that from. My
it
new buddy
means
could.
right. You cover that one. But the mark is the person whose love emotion is being toyed with.
Mm,
I like it. I like it.
mm.
So let me ask you this, because you came out firing, Samantha. So there's this dichotomy that I see happening with you. This boss babe,
Hmm.
and then you said the regular Samantha. The savage is probably over on the boss side, but then we still have the regular Samantha. So we've got the boss and the savage, and then we have the Samantha. So we see this dichotomy. How do
Sure.
you how do you balance that dichotomy between the savage and the boss and the regular Samantha? When does this side come out to overtake that side?
Yeah. Well, I think I do it just like every other human on this planet, and it comes in phases, right? Life can be cyclical, and what emotional phases we go through will really, determine the choices we make, especially when it comes to romantic choices. And really, the determinant factor for in most cases is it's a term called vulnerability.
Hmm.
So this happens after a divorce. This happens after some kind of heartbreak or some
Hmm.
traumatic experience. You could lose a loved one, and then in those following stages, people become vulnerable. So
Hmm.
this is when the dichotomy, can be applied, because I can go from one phase of strength and savage, get hurt, and then be completely vulnerable and get played,
Hmm.
because that's
Yeah.
where my book was born. My book was born from heartbreak. I fell in love with someone who didn't care enough.
Hmm.
And I had always been the player. I thought I'm too smart for this, right? I'm too savage for this.
Did that
And
get your
then
phone?
I found out in retrospect that the timing was right after a divorce, right? And
Okay.
then prior to that, the timing of when I decided to marry my husband, who was definitely not a good fit, for about 8.5 years, we were married. Prior to that, I lost my brother suddenly. So I became vulnerable and I chose to marry this man despite better judgment. So vulnerability really is a key factor, and everyone's susceptible.
Everybody is susceptible to being vulnerable. It's funny because my first book that actually put me on the map, where I did a lot of shows off of that, was actually called Playa to Praya.
Mm,
Um, Understanding that playing aspect, coming out of that realm of feeling like you can have and be with who you choose to be with, and you can have
right.
who you decide you want to have. So
Mm,
it's the perspective, it's the persona that you
right.
take on as an individual going after that. And so I love what you're doing. I love your title, but to see it come from a female, you
Yeah.
know, because we typically think when we say playing, we typically think male. It's a
Yeah.
dominated piece that we would attribute to a male's presence as opposed to a female. Not to say that females can't be players, because they certainly can,
Right.
but it's typically associated with a male.
Yeah, I mean, because you guys are the hunter in this
Uh
dynamic
huh.
between male and
Hmm.
female. For the most part, you guys have to make an effort to go out and acquire sex. You have to go hunt for it,
Hmm.
right?
But but
Females,
go
yes,
ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
females don't have to do that. So there's a different dynamic, right? Men have different physical urges that we can't relate to. Certainly we have our own, but they're unique to yours. And so playing typically is something that a man can do, whether he's even aware of it or not.
Yeah.
just because the pursuit is in his loins,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, that's where my pursuit is. And and it wears a suit.
But you were gonna say,
It is definitely in our loins to do so. We are warriors by nature, so we do
right?
go after that prey.
Because if you
And
don't,
so
you won't get it.
yeah, yeah, you're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
right.
You're absolutely right. I like your perspective, Samantha, because you act like you think like a male. So because you think you have that male perspective and how you think, do you find that you have issues when you're dating because you're either going to be on the same pace or you're going to maybe be a step or two ahead because you're already thinking how you know what he's thinking already, so you're going to be ahead. So do you find that to be an issue when you're dating?
Well, here's the thing. Let's separate me sort of having a male tendency versus me just being educated about how the brain works,
Okay.
male to female, because a
Okay.
lot of it really just is biology. And if women and men, there's two books if I could ever recommend for well three, of course mine. There's a doctor named Louise Brizendine who wrote two books, one called The Male Brain and one called The Female Brain. And of all the books and research that I've done about the brain, these two were probably the easiest to read and some of the most informative for those that have a basic understanding or no understanding at all. And male and female brains look different, right?
Mhm.
You could hold them up and tell
Mhm.
which one's a
Mhm.
male by like a
Mhm.
puppy. You just look at it, that's a
That's
boy.
a Chihuahua and that's a Great
Right.
Dane, huh?
You so we sometimes, right, so we sometimes if you have a really good basic understanding of how males and females not only use different areas of the brain, regions of the brain to process the same emotive responses, but we also use a different strategy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Y'all strategic.
Right.
I will admit that. And
So to
y'all
answer
use
your
a different part of the brain.
Right, we do. We're very different. We're very similar being human genetically, but the way our brains function is very different. If you have an understanding, it almost takes the sting out of relationships. So just to answer your question, it's not as if I have these male characteristics, but I do understand how men think.
Yeah, you it's not and I wasn't saying that if that's what you thought I was saying. I just knew I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
really saying that you understand the male proclivities.
Yeah.
And
What
I think that's extremely important.
what are some
So,
When you
interesting male proclivities? I'm interested because I want to see if I got them.
well, let's see. Um,
Or
well,
how does
there
a
in
male
terms of what? There's so many.
like for example, like talk about what are how we think, like give some examples of maybe how a man thinks versus how a woman thinks about maybe a particular subject, like for let's try something simple like sex. What's the difference?
Okay. Okay, well, oh wow, how different are we in this particular area? And let's talk about, you know what? Let's talk about sex and how we fall in love because that would probably be
Hmm.
the most interesting part. Right. So men are very physical.
Mhm.
Women, ladies really need to understand that there's no such thing as a man having eyes for one woman. It's literally impossible. Like literally your testicles and your optical nerves work together to notice the girl walking by with the big titties and the ass
Hmm.
before your frontal lobe even figures out if she's cute or not.
Hmm.
That's the visual side. Men are very visual. So we
Right.
create that we
Right.
create that visual stimuli and that image in our mind and it begins to
how
It
true
happens
penetrate.
first.
how true
Yeah.
is
The
that? Because
testicles and the eyes working
that
together,
is so
and
funny.
then it works through your brain and you get an emotional value and then it pops to your frontal lobe, and so then you figure out if she's fine or not.
Yeah, you go, wow, look at that ass. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. She looks
Right.
like a monkey face horse.
So ladies, if his brain is working optimally, of course he's looking at other women.
Hmm.
Okay. It's not his wandering eye that you should be concerned with. That's a reflex. It's his wandering penis that you need to be worried about.
Mm,
Okay.
Ooh.
mm.
Ooh. Say it,
So
Samantha.
Say it. Speak on it.
it's
Yeah.
real. It's real. There's no such thing. Let that man look. He can't help it. It's a reflex.
Let me ask you this, Samantha. So do you think that has a lot to do with an alpha, the male being an alpha, because that all ties back into the ego, and because the men are driven by their ego, and that alpha side of the male now puts him in that position to want to go after the prey, not just
Yeah.
one prey, but as much prey that he can gather. That's
Yeah.
that driven psycho alpha
Yeah.
rather ego about that male.
Right. And the thing about that alpha male mentality is really that's something that he shares between his male peers. So that if he does go out and conquer a lot of women and find bad bitches, then he goes and he brags to his male peers. And so that is where he finds his hierarchy and the level of hierarchy that he sort of identifies with, right? How
Mhm.
masculine am I? That's something you identify with around your male peers.
That is
There's a word that uh, I guess became popular like in the 70s. We don't hear it as much now, but there was a word. So men started to show their what they called their machismo, but women started to show what they called their marinismo.
hmm,
The marinismo was the female counterpart or the female version of the male's machismo.
Hmm.
So as what we're talking about with you today, you have that marinismo, and I think that because you're on that level to exude that marinismo, it shows that, hey, if you can do it, I can do it as well.
that sounds like a
Well,
It
salsa. That sounds like something you put on a taco.
Merit, say that word
Marinissimo.
again.
Bring me some more marinissimo with these chips.
Marinismo. Is that what they're calling it these days?
well, it was more of a 70s term, though. That's why I said you don't hear it as much now,
Oh,
because
really?
it became prevalent when we were really talking about that machismo, because you don't even hear machismo as much anymore.
Right
But I
anymore.
think
Yeah,
they
because
had to
when I was
create a
coming
word.
up,
Yeah.
it was in the 90s, they just called you a hoe. It was like a whole thing. You had to hide your hoe. But then I like this new term. You had
Hysterical.
to hide your hoe. You remember that, buddy? Now you can just let it free.
Let it free. Hang on out.
Be
Like
free.
it's in now. They be like, oh man,
Let
that
your
girl,
freak flag. Let your freak flag fly.
yeah, that girl Pootie Poo done had a whole workout for 25 years.
Oh my
She got a
goodness.
6-pack. No, it's like a good thing now. No, whatever you want to call it. I think I wouldn't say it's unfortunate or fortunate in either way, but I think that it's eye opening for men to learn that, and who would have thunk it, that women are actually very highly sexual.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what's unfortunate was how we started in this culture. I mean, if you look back, in the like early 1900s, like you couldn't even ask your husband to have an orgasm. They'd be like, "She's a witch, burn her at the stake." What's wrong with this bitch?
Yeah,
I
that little
think, but I
Puritan,
think
that
I think
Puritan
it was
thing didn't work. That didn't work.
What the
you
fuck?
you felt, thank God that you guys have some liberation now. You feel more liberated because now you can be who you want to be. You can say what you feel and do
Yeah,
what you feel
right.
that is something that makes you happy. Before, you had to hide it. It had to stay uh what we would call, it was kind of like it was this hidden feeling. Even though it was there, you couldn't show it. So now
Yeah,
I love the fact that you can, if you want me, tell me you want me. If you want to do something with me, sure, tell me. I
right,
don't want to have to guess. I want to know
right.
what you feel, what you think.
Right. And I think it's important also to note that that issue is sort of twofold. There's sort of the culture and the marketplace piece, and then there's the individual piece. So I think that the biggest complication for women with this sort of thwarted culture
Hmm.
that is beginning to dissipate is that not so much from a public level, but from an intra-relational level, sometimes we find that even our husbands and the men that we love are somehow intimidated by the highly sexual woman. And when I say highly sexual, I'm not talking about frequency and body count. I'm talking about inhibition in bed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about being able to be free and honest and open, and somehow that can be intimidating for men. And I think that because we are creating this new dialogue, whether it be from Me Too to this podcast or my book, or even Amber Rose with her slut walks, excuse me, it's all a difficult dialogue, but it's all necessary. I think that it's helping to
Have
sort
have
of.
you have you personally experienced um having a difficult conversation about your, and I'll just give it, your sexual boss bitch in bed? Is that ever been intimidating to one of your, and what does
Yes.
that sound like when you're discussing it? Is it
Ooh.
is it hey, I
Well,
don't like this, or hey, give me more of that? What is that conversation of, how does that conversation come about?
so it's funny because the only time I've ever had a problem was with someone that I really truly loved.
Mm,
So let's just
Wow.
separate that. Women can have relationships based on physical strategy and other strategies, but certainly the physical one. And so if I'm, not emotionally attached, there seems to be no problem
hmm,
with how uninhibited I can be in bed. There seems to be no issue at all. But I will give you a personal example. When I was married, okay, um, without divulging too much, within the first 2 weeks of marriage, now, mind you, I had been an uber Christian prior to marrying him, right? My brother had died. I had just gone through this huge, crazy life change, and we had tried our best for a year to not have sex until the marriage. I know, right? Right?
okay.
Yeah, like I never had a problem getting laid until I hooked up with this dude. Like, never. So, but that's what we chose. And he was almost a virgin,
Mm,
but I was not. Okay. And so 2 weeks into our marriage, I remember I came out of the shower, I had a towel wrapped around me, and he was lying in bed in his boxers only, and he was fully aroused. And so my eyes got big and I go, "Ooh, you're horny." And he went from smile to, "What the fuck wrong with you, bitch? Why?"
mm,
So it may be that, I had, I certainly had some issues with our sexual relationship, and he did too, but we never ended up coming together and understanding them. So I can't tell you what his thinking was, but throughout our 8.5 year marriage, there was this sort of pull and tug between. I mean, come on, let's on paper, right? Like I got more experience than you. Let me just take the lead here and let's show us some shit.
Your
Like, come
financial
on.
statement looks a little stronger than his. So let me
Come
just
on,
take the
let's
lead.
look
Right,
at the
right.
resume here. Seriously.
do,
No, it was just a struggle and we never got that piece together.
is
So
the,
we did not make
do
it.
you think your book would have helped you deal with that then, or did you write your book after this experience?
I wrote the book. Yes and yes. I wrote the book after the experience, and I think that if I had gone through the 4.5 years of research after I gotten divorced, if I had done that while I was married, perhaps um, we would have had a better relationship. But I don't know that we would have survived because we just weren't compatible from an intellectual or a sexual
Hmm.
spaces. We just weren't compatible. Um, and so
How,
thank God I have my two beautiful children.
So Samantha, I want to let you. I want you to know I've enjoyed you. You being our first guest. I like your energy. I like your testimony, if we want to call it that. Your
Yeah.
words of empowerment to the public. How can people really find you? How can people get your book? Because you are like we definitely gonna get you back because you are awesome. You're phenomenal. You're an
Aw,
empowered woman.
thank
Um,
you.
you're hot.
I'm still,
You're
yeah, she's
hot.
hot. She's a hottie.
Thank you,
She's
buddy.
definitely a
Mwah.
hottie.
Mm.
Mwah. Yeah. So
Wait, whoa, whoa, whoa! I said you're hot too. I didn't get a
oh,
thank you
oh,
or a kiss. Come on,
one
I
of
said
those
you
was for
were
you. Let me renegotiate.
hottie.
I ain't shit. I'll tell you something right now. When I'm loyal, I'm loyal. Like when I'm loyal, if I tell you I love you and I'm loyal, I'm loyal. But when I ain't shit, I ain't shit. ain't shit.
I love it.
I can do what in the entire fuck I want to do. And that's the beauty of being almost 50, buddy.
Get
It's okay
out of
if you.
here.
I swear to God. Well, I'm almost pushing. I just turned 47. I just had a birthday.
When's
You
your
look
birthday?
amazing.
January 2nd, same as Chris Spencer's.
I didn't know that. I would have brought you a little something.
Oh,
Mm.
what you gonna bring me? Hello, something. Cap, how you say that?
Bring you something for your birthday. Bring you this New Year's gift.
Listen, that's gonna be her. That's gonna be her Valentines.
Yeah, I got a Valentines. I got some Valentines for you. All right, let me stop. I'm not going to be a harassing person.
No, it's okay. I can handle it. I'm a big girl. But let me just say, I think it almost sounded naive in the beginning when you guys were talking about the Valentine. Like, I was thinking the Valentine side. I think she knows.
No, some of them don't know.
I think she knows.
Some of them are truly
Some of
surprised.
them really don't know.
And you'll see them walk. You'll see them on the bus. You'll see them on the subway train and driving in their car. They, they driving down the freeway.
I tend to agree with you, Samantha. I think they know, but they don't want to know. I think they see, but they don't want to see it. Right. I think it's like when somebody meets someone and they see the red flags, but they just want to have somebody. It's for the sake of saying they have someone to fill that void, but they know.
And also to the wives who know that their men are stepping out, but they're just gonna turn that piece off and move on with their lives.
They're gonna get them roses. That's what they're gonna get.
They're gonna get them roses.
Get the roses, and and guess what they're gonna do? Park the car in the garage of the house.
That part. So they know, and some of some women are into that.
Yeah.
Some women are into.
How many people do we know that chose intentionally to ignore the red flags?
Oh, wow.
They chose intentionally.
Damn near everybody.
So
there's always a red flag.
They know. Yeah.
Come on now. Yeah, them motherfuckers be looking burgundy, them motherfucker when you first meet somebody. They be having all kind of designs and stripes
big ass stop sign on over this. You're like, yeah, I don't know. I missed that. No, you didn't. You saw it.
You saw it. You just didn't want to deal with it.
So where can we get your book?
Yeah, tell us how we get your book, how people can get in contact with you.
Yeah, so you can find my book. Again, it's called The Complete Player. You can find it on Amazon. You can get the ebook or the paperback. I also have a weekly podcast called The King Abrams Show, where, yes, I did have a co-host that was it's like a neuroscientist and a psychologist with a specialty in sexual behaviors. But I also have a new co-host, Samson Crouppen, whom you know, buddy. And he and I talk about sex and science. So so we talk about a lot of the subject matter in my book. And you can find me on social media everywhere. Since I overdo everything that I do, you can find me that way. I like the eye on your face. So it's EYE, overdo it. Samantha Abrams, and I certainly do appreciate you guys having me on today.
Oh, it was a pleasure. Say it again. Say it so sexy again, like that girl. Oh, I love it. I thank you for that.
So glad to have me on today, guys.
Samantha, you are all that good stuff. We so much appreciate having you. You're awesome. We're gonna go into a segment that I am excited about. I don't want to do with Buddy. It's gonna be called our What's Trending. Buddy, what's trending? So, Buddy, I want to say some words to you, and I want you to tell me what you think they mean.
Okay.
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 First word I want to say is called hand-ticipation. Hand-ticipation.
Hand-ticipation. Okay. Listen, I think this is when you see dudes walking around with their hands in their pockets, and they're about to get home, and they're like anticipating being with this honey, or they're like, yeah, sometimes you think it's just being cold, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to manipulate and move it so it don't so it's not in the way, sticking out as you
So
getting on
it's
the
not obvious. It's not
yeah, it's
being
not
seen.
obvious when you're on the elevator going down to your car, because should have sent you one of them sexy texts like, I'm sitting here naked. You got to anticipate and get it out of your way.
I like it. I like it. The actual meaning, though, but it's the anxiety that comes with being unsure about
Mm.
the physical boundaries that are acceptable due to social distancing, such as whether to hug, handshake, or wave at your date.
Mm. Okay.
But
Okay.
yours was good. Yours was good. Okay, I got another
I
one for
like
you.
mine better though.
I do. I
Move it.
like yours
I
better.
move it. Just move it out of
I
the way,
like it.
because
Don't make it
you
so
pup
obvious.
titting. You
Just
pup
fix
titting
it.
in your jeans.
Just fix it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got another one for you, buddy.
Okay, go ahead. I'm good. I got answers.
Hesitating.
Hesitating. This is when you see a chick from far away, and then you think, I'm about to get a date, and they get closer, and you're like, oh no, wait a minute. She's got a full out goatee. So you see her from afar, and you're like, I want to have a date, or you get up on them, and you're like, oh, and the breath smell like 2 feet in a pickle jar. You like, oh, your breath is, so you gotta hesitate a second before you get with them, and you're like, you know what, I thought this was gonna work out, but it's not. So it's you hesitating.
Hesitate. Okay, I like yours are really good. It actually means, buddy,
Mm.
feeling indifferent about dating.
Mm.
Unsure if you want to date seriously or casually because life in general is as uncertain as it is right now with everything going on.
Yeah, hey, ladies hesitate. You see a dude, you're like, oh, he's good looking, and then you say hi, and he goes, hey, and you go, wait a minute.
What the heck is happening
What
here?
the heck happened? This big old muscular piece of beef is playing for the other team. Wait a minute. Or you get up and you're like, I'm gonna talk to this dude. I see him every day on the bus, and I never really get to talk to him real good because he never really smiles. I'm gonna make him smile today. And you open up his mouth, and his teeth look like they're giving up gang signs. You like, I gotta hesitate. I thought I was gonna do it, but I'm gonna have to hesitate. It happens.
All right, I got another one for you.
Okay.
Communicating.
Communicating. This is this is basically another word. In other words, it's pimping. This is another word for pimping. This is the millennial Gen X. I'm communicating, and it's like, you're communicating and dating at the same time, but you really just pimping. You're just conversing with these dates all over, and you're gonna get you got a whole lot of them. So you got to communicate through these different modes of communication, like Instagram, Facebook. Like, you got girls on Facebook, you got girls on TikTok, you got women. So you spread your community around social media, and before you date. I like my answer.
So that's a digital pimp.
Yeah, digital pimp. There it is. He just pimping digitally.
Digitally.
And it's like women, they want a dude to chase them, but then they ghost you after you start really getting into them. That's what happens. So yeah.
I like yours, but it actually means using dating apps not just for dating and intimate relationships, but to make friends and connections.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that what it is? Okay.
Communicating.
Oh, community. I thought you was just dating the community. That's what I thought it also meant. You could just,
So that would make
I'm spreading
somebody
this dating around everywhere.
that would make a female what, a garden utensil, maybe?
Hey, pretty much.
And they
Yeah,
would make
she
a guy want to.
communicating.
She communicating.
Yeah, this garden tool is out here communicating. You know, it's like so I guess that would be, I guess, like in the church it would be congregating.
Congregating.
Congregating. That's like what a pastor does. He congregates.
Congregates.
Yeah, let me put these hands, lay these hands on you.
Oh, sister so and so.
Yeah, sister Sister Jones and the praise dancers. Let me we gonna congregate this weekend.
Congregate.
We're gonna congregate.
Boy, you gonna have these pastors mad at you.
Hey, I don't. Hey,
They be
get your lives together.
congregating.
Mhm.
Buddy, I like that one.
Okay.
Congregating.
Congregating. Yeah, that's when you're a nasty pastor. You're just a nasty tithing pastor. I want 10% of your draws. That's what you're doing. You nasty buzzard. You just a nasty reverend. That's what you are. You're a dirty, low-down pastor. That's what you are when you out here congregating.
Congregating. Buddy, we need to register that word, dude.
Yeah, I mean, man, let's get it. That's congregating.
Man, we need to register that word. Congregating.
Yeah, that's when you's a nasty pastor. Yeah.
You got
came
caught
up
with your hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah, and in the tithing plate. You all up in there. You all up in there. You got them praise dancers and the
ushers.
Usher in the usher board. You got the you going there for every bake sale. You going to lay hands. I know what you're doing. You's a nasty
The pastor's
congregating
aide.
pastor. And you can be a congregator in the deacon board too. You can be a nasty deacon too. They be out there congregating.
Boy, you funny. Listen, we got to get ready. I got one more piece I want to go to.
Okay, man. Let's get to it.
This is called our goofy relationship stories. What you got there, buddy? You got a goofy. You just told about the pastor and the congregation.
Yeah, man.
What kind of? You got any goofy relationship stories?
You know what? It's not goofy, but it's just strange to me, like, you know, how relationships start twisting and turning. Like I am like laughing every day at this Kim Kardashian and Kanye West relationship now. They spend more time together stalking each other than they did when they were married.
When they were together.
Yeah, when they were together, they hating on each other more. You're like, wait a minute. Kanye, listen, how you just gonna buy a house across the street from your ex, like to watch her bring another dude in the house?
Wait. Excuse me. He
so,
bought a house?
Listen, they broke up. Kanye supposedly has purchased a house across the street from Kim Kardashian's house, basically to, you know, quote unquote, I'm going to be closer to my kids. But that's not what you're doing, Kanye. You're a stalker. You're a rich billionaire stalker, and you just watching your wife as she brings in her new dates. And it's like she's watching you bring in your new dates. You know, you driving up the street, you honking your horn, bam, bam, bam. Look who I got in the car, and pull into your driveway. I mean, it's really stalkery. You know, like, Kanye, come on, man. Don't you have some songs to write? Don't you have something to do other than the, peeping all out the window? You know, who she got over there today? What's Pete doing over there? What's Pete Davidson doing over there?
You think they're gonna one up each other? Like, okay, I saw him doing. You think they're gonna
stop, man? Hey, let it go. And see this, and it's speaking of not seeing the red flags. And congregating.
That flag didn't turn burgundy at all.
She was communicating before he met her, and I'm just saying, she had her share of like relationships prior to meeting Kanye. Kanye, you got to know, hey man, that's you didn't see this happening to you. I mean, that's the pattern, and so I'm like, hey, I just think, it's just interesting to me, that, this is where he is, man. He's like, I'm going to be stalker dad. I'm going to be musical stalker dad. And it's not a good look because it makes you look kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It makes you look kind of creepy that, hey man, it's over. It's over. Let it go. Just go get the kids on their birthdays at Christmas. You can be that kind of dad. There's some kind of dads that are, hey man, I'll come by on Christmas and say hello and hang out and get some roast beef, take a plate, go home. But you can't be that creepy stalker dude. Like, hey, I'm gonna need the police here when you come pick the kids up. That's you don't want to be that dude.
Who do you think? Let's take some side bets here. Who do you think will move first, Kanye or her? Who do you think will be the first to move?
Well, I think she's got enough money to move wherever. But the only problem is in California, one of the things, the law is that when you have young children, you can't take children out of the state. You can't, unless it's an order that you get from the court that, hey, we can move our kids wherever. But uh I would think she would probably move, and she'll probably go into some gated community where
Then,
where
then he
Kanye,
then he comes and buys the whole
yeah,
community.
he might buy the whole community. I mean, this is what I'm saying. It's just too much. You can't get away, and it becomes like I said, it becomes very, very stalkery. So I would take bets on Kanye probably moving first because he's gonna get tired. But he and I'm gonna say this, and I've always felt this. I think Kanye is a musical genius.
Yeah.
He is a musical genius, and geniuses are right on the edge of being on the spectrum. That spectrum for them, there's a fine line between genius and nutty. And sometimes when you get right up there on the edge and your genius takes over, and I don't care what it is, I don't care. You can look at any person that's considered a genius. They all had some, like, okay, he's weird. They had this weird thing where I'm talking uh Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, what's the billionaire dude with the money? Warren Buffett,
Tesla guy. Oh, okay.
Tesla,
Musk, Elon.
Elon Musk. They all a little nutty. Kanye, they just a little nutty. They're a little nutty. And so you don't know what. I think genius in the brain, because Samantha was talking about the brain. I think genius saps from other areas of the brain. So like you might be a super genius, but dealing with people is that you sapped away for the genius is working over here on this side of the brain, but you like, I don't know how to talk to people. I'm really, you had this thing, and I'm telling you, all geniuses have this thing. Look at Wile E. Coyote, super genius. He was too stupid to know that bird wasn't really worth all that. That roadrunner wasn't worth all that. But Wile E. Coyote was a super genius. But he didn't know he was chasing a bird the bird was, and he couldn't get, he was in this mode, like, he was neurotic with, I'm gonna get this bird. It was an ADD. I mean, he was compulsive, like it was compulsion. Like it was just like this neurotic compulsion to catch the roadrunner. And I mean, he went through elaborate schemes, used all his money on Acme. He did everything.
Dynamite. He did
Dynamite.
whatever.
I mean, he could put all that stuff together and didn't realize, gravity wasn't working his way. I mean, so a prime example is Wile E. Coyote, and that's what a lot of these people.
Right now we're telling our age. I just want you to know,
I
Wile E.
don't care.
Coyote.
I don't care about these millennial kids.
We're telling our age,
listen,
and some of these
first of
younger
all,
people, they're not even gonna get the Wile E. Coyote super genius thing.
it doesn't matter. You know what? Because I'm not talking to none of them. Because most of these little kids right now shouldn't even be in relationships. You're geniuses because you're on the computer. You're nutty. Okay, they're nutty. So I'm not even talking to them. The people who that references for know who I'm talking about. Okay.
Listen, we got to get ready to go. We got to send out some shout outs. We got to shout out. This is an Action Shot production.
Okay.
We need to send out, thank you, Action Shot production. Stephen Sebo, thank you for making us look good, sound good. And when we look good and sound good, we certainly feel good.
That's true. I know I feel good.
You feeling good?
I feel good.
What did you think about our first show, buddy?
Loved it. I would watch this. This is interesting.
I thought it was great. I thought we had good synergy. I thought we had a great guest. And we are coming back next week with another exciting show. So we can only go higher, buddy. We can't, I mean,
higher. Higher.
I want to take you
higher.
Come on, you got to follow. I want to take you
higher. You got to double and overlap it. You got to overlap those vocals.
And listen, as Fat Joe said, if you want to know where we are, we going all the way to the top.
To the top.
To the top. That's where we at. Buddy,
tell them where they can find you on social media, Reg.
Yeah, you can find me on C. Reggie Rogers Facebook, C. Reggie Rogers Instagram, and you can go to creggierogers.com. You'll find all my material there, my books, all my information is on creggierogers.com. What about you, buddy?
I just got back on IG because they booted me off for something. I'm not gonna complain. I just started me a new account. I'm mad. Somebody at Instagram needs to call me and tell me who has my material. I want my material back. I put it online. I want it back. Since you disbanded me, give me my stuff back. Because I did some very, very funny stuff on Instagram and I want it back. That's not yours. That's mine. Give it back. Anyway, I'm on IG at the Real Buddy Lewis jokes at the Real Buddy Lewis jokes on IG. I'm Buddy Lewis jokes on Instagram. On Facebook and Twitter. That's Buddy Lewis jokes on Twitter and Facebook. I'm gonna give me a TikTok too. I'm gonna start doing me some TikToks. I'm gonna get on all these platforms, Reggie.
All right. Well, it's inevitable. You know, you are that guy. Buddy, before we go, I was just watching a show the other day and I can't think what it was. I was over the weekend, they were showing a lot of, because it's Black History Month, and they were showing a lot of Black movies. I saw you run out of a restaurant and chase these guys out of, what movie was that? You were running out of a restaurant. You chased these guys out. They came into the restaurant. What movie was that?
Oh man, shoot, man. I'm not trying to be persnickety per se. I don't know, Reg. I've run out of a restaurants in a couple of movies.
Did you do any?
Do you remember who was in the movie?
Did you do any other Fridays?
No, it wasn't next. I didn't do any of the Friday series.
Okay, I'm trying to think.
You gotta let me know.
I just saw you over the weekend. They came into the restaurant. You chased them out and called them something funny. I said, "Wait till I tell Buddy this." And I can't.
Maybe it was the brothers. Maybe
that's what it was.
The brothers.
That's exactly. It was. The
brothers. I ran them out.
That's what it was.
Bill Bellamy's date. Listen, you know what? I would have been famous if that movie, if I'd have got a full frontal shot. But the director played me. He's gonna get mad when I say this because you only saw part of my face like this. He didn't give me a full.
I knew who you were. I caught it immediately.
Man, Bill Bellamy's date. He takes this white girl to a soul food restaurant.
Yes, that's it.
One of his ex-girlfriends, who's the judge, comes in and starts giving him grief because he's in there with this white girl in this soul food restaurant. And the white girl body slams this sister at the table because
she got into her little karate.
The white girl, she's like got into a little karate stance, and the black girl's like, "What karate? I don't what." And she pushed her. She said, "Don't push me again." And the white girl body slammed her over the table, and I went, "Hey, take you and Buffy the Negro Slayer and get out my restaurant." And I took him out. I would have been famous.
Yeah, I saw that this weekend. Listen, we got to go, buddy. This has been so much fun. I can't wait for our next show, man.
I can't either, Reg. It was a pleasure, man. Hey, listen, man, get one piece of advice to all the folks who are dealing with after effects of Valentine's Day. Just give them some love advice, Reg. Give them one little nugget.
A relationship has to be a cadence. A cadence is when two people are stepping the same, moving in the same direction, and it's a movement that doesn't take a lot of work, but it's a movement that has a natural reaction. That's what a cadence is. A cadence is just a smooth movement. It's a word called symphoneo.
Mm,
Symphoneo is where we get our English word called symphony. When a symphony plays, every instrument is so smooth, everybody plays their part, know their part, and it comes across like it's a oneness. That's what a relationship has to be, a oneness. There's a cadence to a relationship. So find what your rhythm is and walk in that natural rhythm.
that's nice. I'm gonna just go and get me some congregate.
No, 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 no. It's
I'm gonna go get
congregate.
yeah, I'm gonna go get me some congregates and some communidates. Reg, have a good one, man. I love you.
Likewise,
All
man.
right,
Back
brother.
at you, buddy.
Peace.